Hi, and welcome to the Breakthrough Emotional Eating podcast. My name is Kristen Jones, and thank you so much for joining me this week. We are live as usual in the Breakthrough Emotional Eating community on Facebook. If you are not a member and you are listening to the podcast, all you need to do is go into Facebook. You can either do a search in groups, Breakthrough Emotional Eating. I believe mine comes up right up at the top. If you do that search, and actually, if you do a search for emotional eating, you will find my group as well. But you can also just type directly into the search bar, www.facebook.com/groups/food breakthrough, and come and join us. Just have to answer a few questions. Please make sure you answer the questions when you apply to come into the group, and you will absolutely be let in. We'd love to have you. We just ask you a few questions at the beginning just to make sure that you're appropriate to be in the group. So that is where we do our lives from. And I am excited to talk about today's topic because this is something I have been talking about the last couple of weeks. I've been talking about this a lot with people in various places, in various formats. And it's somebody, one of my current clients actually brought it up and did a post about how she was feeling about the possibility of being afraid to lose weight. And what do you do with that? Like, how do you deal with that? How do you address that if you feel like you may have some fear surrounding losing weight? What do you do about that? Like, how do you kind of get your head wrapped around that? Because initially you would think automatically, well, of course, everyone wants to lose weight. If they feel like they need to, everybody wants to lose weight. But here's the thing. So I am talking about your fear not being at a conscious level, like the level that you're actually aware of, but actually at a subconscious level. And that's the level where everything kind of happens on its own and it happens automatically. And in a lot of cases, people don't always know what they're always not always aware of what their subconscious thoughts are and how much they are impacting how they're living their lives. So we're going to talk about that today. So what are you going to learn today? Today, you are going to learn whether or not you possibly have some fear associated with losing weight. You're going to learn about the subconscious and the conscious mind, two parts of your brain, how they work, and how, when they are not in agreement, that can dramatically and drastically impact your ability to be able to achieve any kind of goal. Doesn't just have to be weight loss. Any kind of goal can be made more difficult if your subconscious and conscious mind are not in agreement about what it is that you want to achieve. So we're going to talk about that because that is a very, very important point. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about some of the most common reasons why people have fear. And again, I'll take you through the steps of how you start to help alleviate those issues from happening. So we will talk about that. So again, we're live in the Breakthrough Emotional Eating community. So www.facebook.com/groups/food breakthrough. And we are again live in the group, and you absolutely can come and join anytime you need to, again, any support, any help in the way of emotional eating, we got you. All right. So the subconscious and the conscious mind. So you might have heard the term subconscious. You might have heard the term, unconscious, subconscious, any of those things. So we're going to talk about the difference between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Now, the conscious mind is the one that I'm using right now, that I am using to look at my notes and be in this moment. And I'm talking and I am specifically forming my words, forming my thoughts, and they are working because I am actively doing that work. I am actively thinking consciously. Okay. So I'm making a conscious effort. That is how your brain will work 90% of the time. Sorry, 10%. No, sorry, 3%. What am I saying? 3% of your day is spent with your brain working at a conscious level where you are actively thinking things. Okay. Otherwise, 97% of the time, your brain is working at a subconscious level. The subconscious level, those are the automatic thoughts that you just have pre-programmed in your brain. Those can be negative self-talk. They can be, it's like how we work when we drive a car. I'm not consciously thinking when I'm driving a car, oh my gosh, I have to pick my foot up and put it on the gas and then push down. And then I pick my foot up and I move it to the brake. Let's move it to the brake. It's like it just happens automatically because my eyes are taking in all sorts of information. It's something I've done so many times. It has become almost rote or automatic. And so that is what we do, so many things automatically, basically because they have become habits. And so we work 97% of the time at a subconscious level, So 3% at conscious, 97% at subconscious level. So at a conscious level, when you make the decision, I am going to lose weight, that is at a conscious level. You have decided, I want to lose weight. I am going to lose weight. And your conscious brain is like, yeah, let's do it. What are we going to do? So then you kind of get yourself together with a plan and you're ready. And this is going to be great. And then all of a sudden you start having issues with thoughts and feelings and beliefs. And all of a sudden it's like, you can't stay on, you find yourself self-sabotaging. You find yourself, tripping yourself up when you're just, it doesn't make any sense. I just said this morning that I wanted to lose weight, and now it's 3:30 in the afternoon. And why am I eating a tub of popcorn? How is that happening? So for those of you who are live in the group, ever had that happen where in the morning you were like, today's going to be a good day. And by the afternoon, you were like, off the rails. So I want you to put in the comments, off the rails. If that has ever happened to you, that you have started your morning feeling like it's going to be a really great day, and by the afternoon, literally off the rails. So in the comments, let's go ahead and drop an off the rails, and let me know that you can feel me on that. You understand it. And that is something that possibly has happened to you. All right. Oh, there we go. Oh, we got lots of off the rails. Absolutely. So I had to mention popcorn. Sorry, Carol. I know how that is. All right. Yes, absolutely. So again, if we're not aware that so many of our habits that we're doing, so many of our habits and our thinking happen automatically. If we don't have that already built in, that we know that and we're aware of it, then we're going to have a problem being able to, I want to say control it, but we're going to have a harder problem being able to manage that, because we're not going to understand. We're not going to understand why it's happening. But the reason it's happening is there is a disconnect between what your conscious mind wants and what your subconscious mind is there to do. And your subconscious mind is there to protect you. So it is there to keep you happy and healthy and safe. And so there is a definite conflict between those two places. And so that's where people end up having an issue. So what ends up happening is, the reason why people will have self-sabotaging behaviors is if there is a disconnect and the conscious mind wants one thing and the subconscious mind wants another. Well, 3% and 97%. I wonder which one's going to override. The 97%, the one that says, oh, it's not safe. We're not doing that. We want you to be safe and healthy and stay the same. If that is what your brain is going for, and that's what that's what it's looking for, it's going to stay with the subconscious, because the subconscious is the one that does most of the work. So it's really important to make sure that it's not that you're weak. It's not that you can't do it. It's not that you lack character and for some reason, I just can't do it. No, that's not it. You are dealing and you are fighting against something that you just don't have enough knowledge about. And it's not that you aren't good enough. It's not that you don't, you just don't have the skill. It's just not meant for you. No, it's just that you're not understanding how your brain's working. And so what I'm going to teach you today is how to take the steps to start overcoming and changing if there's a disconnect, how your subconscious mind feels about losing weight, and changing that so it feels good about losing weight and it's not afraid of it, because that's what's happening. And it will always win out because it does most of the thinking during the day. All right. So there are 3 main reasons why the subconscious would be fearful. And again, these thoughts happen automatically. It's not that you're consciously thinking. So for those people who said, I'm not afraid of losing weight, you're not consciously afraid of losing weight, but you may be subconsciously afraid of losing weight. So just bear with me and listen up. So there are 3 very common reasons why people can be fearful about losing weight. There are the 3 most common. First one, and I think this is so interesting, is there is a fear of heightened expectations from those people around you. And so what can happen is that once there's a heightened expectation, and then there's a level of heightened expectations, and then a level of proficiency that you are expected to keep. Meaning that when you lose weight, people will be like, wow, if they can lose weight, they can do anything. I'm going to ask them to help me, or I'm going to ask them to help me do this or this or this, or, oh, they can do more because they look at what they were already able to accomplish. So you've got that, the heightened expectations, but you also have an expectation of, and you will keep it off. And when things start to backslide, which inevitably, in most cases, they almost always do, that's when people then start to feel, then it really becomes a fear, because then it's like, oh my gosh, I've done this to myself. I've put myself in this position. Or I remember the last time I lost weight and everybody had these expectations that I would never gain it back. And I was super cocky and I told them all I wouldn't gain it back. And here I am, and I'm trying to diet again. And in your subconscious is like, we're not doing that again. That was painful. That was painful. It was scary. It hurt. And your subconscious is there to keep you alive and keep you safe. And so it is going to avoid all of that at all cost. So it's going to keep you safe, and it's going to keep you from doing anything that is going to be detrimental to your health. And in your subconscious mind, that losing weight, that caused a whole lot of anxiety and a whole lot of fear. And we're not doing that again. And since it makes 97% of the decisions, no, you're not doing it. Okay. So that's the first one. Second one, and I think I hear this one more often than anything else. There is a fear of becoming attractive to others. So a fear of attractiveness to others. Now, that can oftentimes be a very, very normal reaction for someone who has been through some type of sexual trauma. And that because oftentimes when people have been a victim of trauma, and a victim of sexual trauma in particular, that they can choose to make the decision at a subconscious level that keeping weight on keeps people away from them and keeps people at a distance. And then you're not going to get hurt by anybody. And so even though you want to lose weight, your subconscious is like, no, that wasn't very safe. Remember what happened when we remember, because especially if it happened when you were young, remember what happened when we were young? No, we can't do that again. We can't do that. We can't risk that. We're going to keep you right where you are. So again, your subconscious has that fear and that concern that by losing weight and being more attractive to others, that will create that fear and that instability in your life that your mind doesn't want. Your mind wants everything to be status quo, calm, boring, the whole thing. And so it's recognizing that if that is a fear, because it could be something that you both want yet are afraid of at the same time. Those two things can happen simultaneously. You can both desire it, yet at another level, you're very fearful of it. So that's a very interesting one. So that again is very common. Lastly, this last one, and I know there's one person on the call who is, I'm not going to say who it is, but I think they'll know when I describe this one. I think this describes them. Many people become very attached, and they don't even know they're attached, but they become very attached to their identity. We're going to ignore that. Very attached to their identity as the fat friend, or the fat girl, or I'm fat and smart, or they have this way, I'm the big guy, or they have this way of describing themselves that has become very much a part of their identity. And that can be something that we hold on to with all of our might. Our identity is not something that our brain will let go of, because again, that's security and it's safety. And so when the subconscious feels like you are trying to shed that identity and let it go, it's like, oh, no, we need to hold on. We need to hold on, because that is who we are. There has to be work done to allow the subconscious to recognize that, no, it's safe. We can let it go. We can let that name, we can let that connection that we have with other people, we can let that go. And it's okay and it's safe to lose weight. It's okay and it's safe to lose weight, because the subconscious is like, no, this is our identity. We can't change that. That has to stay exactly as it is. So it's really important to know and to recognize that these three things at least these top three are in existence, that they are very, very common, that it's very common to have those hesitations. And I'm going to add a fourth one, and it kind of goes on under the heightened expectations. But I'm going to just put it as its own number 4. And that number 4 is, there is a fear of failing. There's a fear of losing it and then gaining it back. Either losing it, or either trying and not losing it, or losing it and then gaining it back and then being a failure. And again, to the subconscious, that pain that you put yourself in is too much, is too excruciating for it to handle. And so again, it's all about protecting you. It thinks it's protecting you. So for those people who are in our live, in our Facebook group, please go ahead and put what you think is possibly, and if you don't think any of them are you, then just don't answer this question. But if you think that maybe one of these 4. One of these 4 reasons possibly might be the reason, or if you want to put more than one, that's fine too. So the first one, number 1, is fear of heightened expectations from others. Second is fear of attractiveness or being attractive. 3 is fear of losing one's identity. And 4 is fear of failure and gaining the weight back. So what could be possibly of those 4? Again, 1, heightened expectations. 2, fear of attractiveness. 3, fear of losing one's identity. 4, fear of regaining the weight and failure. All right. So those are our categories that we're looking at now. And so it's important to recognize, oh, yep, we got these. Okay. 1, 2, 4, 4. Fear of failure, number 4. Got a lot more fear of failures. Yeah, fear of failure is really definitely expectations and failure. Yeah, fear of regaining. Yeah, failure. Yeah, that definitely. All but 3. Good. Okay. So I know and again, it's really, really important, because if you find yourself, excuse me, doing the lose a pound, gain 2, lose a half an ounce, or lose half a pound, gain 3/10 of a pound. You're just doing that back and forth, or, the forward and back, I am going to go out on a limb and say that there is most likely one of these. One of these is plaguing you, and it is at a subconscious level that you really are not even aware of, that you really aren't, that you, in your mind, consciously, yes, you absolutely believe you want to lose weight, 100%. But there is this fear, that there is a fear that's much deeper. And so that fear that's much deeper is the one that needs to be addressed, because your subconscious is way more powerful than your conscious brain, and it will get its way. So we have to make sure that we are addressing it and making sure that we know. We have to make sure that we know what it is, because then we can actually address it. Okay. So how do we go about doing that? Well, the first step we've already done. And that step is, we've recognized what the fear is. And there could be more than one. So what the fears are that we have. So we've been able to look, been able to figure out, okay, I have these fears. I know these fears are there. I knew there was there's some reason I'm self-sabotaging. Not sure what it is, but here are the fear. Here's the fear. These are the ones that I need to deal with. The next step is, you have to find proof to present to the subconscious brain that it does not, that fear is unfounded. It doesn't need to worry about that. You got it. It doesn't need to worry about that. It can let that go, and it doesn't have to worry about that. It doesn't have to be concerned. It's safe, and it's okay for weight loss to happen. Okay. That's what needs to happen. You need to find proof that it's not something that it needs to worry about. It's okay. You've got this dialed in. So what does that look like, and how does that work? Well, there's a variety of ways that you can do that type of thing. The first way, and I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example because I think sometimes it's hard to understand, like, proof. What do you mean by proof? Like, what does that look like? I'm not exactly sure what that is. So I will use myself as an example, and I will use it in a different topic. So one of the fears that I have discovered for myself, obviously I'm a business owner and I have my own business. And there is a certain level for myself. I'm a single person, and I live in California. And for those of you who don't live in California, just FYI, it's really expensive. If you haven't heard that, let me just tell you, it's all true. And $6.70, $6.90 for gas per gallon. Yeah, no joke. Not even kidding. And so I have a certain level because of the area in which I live in. I have a certain level of income that I need to make. I need to make to survive. And so I am, and in my mind, of course, I want to make a certain level of income. Of course, I want to do that because I don't want to have to worry about money, and I want to be able to live my life and be safe and secure and happy and all the good things that everybody wants. And plan for retirement and all the things. But I knew there was something I was doing, and I kept sabotaging myself from this happening, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And the fear that I had was I was afraid that if I made too much money, I wouldn't know how to handle it, and then I would lose it. So very similar to number 4 is I would get it, like you would get the weight loss, and I would make money, and then I would lose it. And then that would put me even in a worse place, because then I would feel horrible because I had done all these, I had created this business, and then I lost it all, and I was doing really well, and then I lost it. And then how would I explain that? And oh my gosh, what if I had to go back and get a real job and I didn't have my business anymore? So all of those fears went through my head. And so I had to give my brain proof of, like, we don't need to worry about that. We don't need to worry about that. It's okay. We are going to be able to manage it. And the way I handled that was I did something very, very practical, which needed to be done for a very long time. And that was I hired a bookkeeper. And it was far and away the smartest thing I have ever done in my life, not only from a professional standpoint for my business, but also for my personal life as well. It has changed my life. It has changed how I look at my business. It's changed how I work with my own money. And it has given me peace of mind where I can tell my subconscious, it's okay. My bookkeeper's name's Bonnie. Bonnie's got this. Like, she keeps us in line. It's all good. You are totally going to be able to deal with it. You're going to totally be able to manage it. So you don't have to worry about it anymore. It's okay. You got this. It's handled. It's handled. You don't have to worry about it. Now, could stuff happen? Sure, stuff could happen, but I know that I have proof that I can manage it. If I wasn't doing that myself, I could look up. I could do an internet search on small businesses and successful small businesses. And I could look at single person, a solopreneur, running a business, making a certain amount, and how they're managing their finances. Totally could do that. And then I'd be like, there's proof. Somebody else is doing it. I'll just copy what they're doing. So that should give you some ideas that if you are looking at any of these as being a reason for why your subconscious is not feeling safe about you losing weight, you can look to anyone you know who has lost weight and kept it off. Anyone you know who has kept their boundaries when they've lost weight, and they don't give in to when people expect more from them. People who have lost weight and have allowed men or women to come into their lives, and they've found a partner after losing weight or while they were losing weight. Any of those things, and again, it could be in your personal life, could also be you do an internet search, people who have lost weight, who have overcome, these types of fears. Yes, absolutely. Billy says you could look to Denise. 100%. Denise would be a great example. She is a perfect example of that. So, and then you just have to tell your subconscious, and you just tell your subconscious every day, it's okay. I got this. You can let me do this. I'm safe. It's okay for me to lose weight. And that needs to become an affirmation. I just sent out some affirmations, some affirmation guides in the group today, or it was yesterday. And affirmations, everything can be turned into an affirmation. We've got to start changing the tapes that are playing in our head that are not serving our lives. So we need to start telling ourselves and telling our brain that is what we need to be able to be good with. Like, it's safe. It's okay. We can allow ourselves to do this. Now, is that the only thing you do? No, you still have to do the work. You still have to do everything, but we have to get our brain on board. So our brain stays connected, and our brain will actually make sure that our subconscious and our conscious brain are in alignment. And that's where the magic will happen, where progress towards the goal will happen. And so it really is that simple. It's finding the proof, and then every day telling your brain it's okay. It's okay. It's safe. Remember, we've got this proof. We've got this person who had, we've got this person as an example. They're doing great. We're doing great. We're going to be okay. Don't worry about it. That is what we need to do. So again, finding those pieces of proof that will allow your subconscious to relax and to know that it is okay it's okay for you to lose weight. You need to address each fear individually, find a different piece of proof for each one, and just make sure that you're addressing every day what those pieces of proof are, not what those pieces of proof are, but what the reasons are, and then why. Your subconscious doesn't need to worry. It doesn't need to protect you anymore. You are okay, and you can handle it. Okay. So again, we have to identify what is our fear. What is the fear that's holding us back? And this can be applied to anything, any goal you have. What's the fear that might, if I'm sabotaging and I'm not making progress, let's look at what's the subconscious fear that I might be having, try to dig in and figure out what those are, make a list, and then for each one of the fears, come up with a piece of proof that counteracts it and shows that you are safe and it is okay for you to lose weight. So if possibly, if one of the things that you are fearful of is that you're not good enough to do this or you don't deserve it, then the way you can show your brain that you are deserving and you are worth it is you can present to your brain all of the work that you've already done, all the things that you're doing. And if you're not doing anything, you start doing things. You start doing affirmations every day. You start doing gratitude. You start having a morning routine where you are taking some time to be silent and meditative, and you're focusing on you. And maybe you're getting a little bit more exercise, and you're doing all the things that you need to do to really take care of yourself and show yourself that you are absolutely worthy of the life that you want to have. That is what you need to show. That will show your brain, your subconscious, that it is okay and it is safe for you to lose weight. All right, y'all. Hope that was helpful. That was a lot of information. So please absorb, take in, watch this or listen to it a second time. Remember, we are always on video on my YouTube channel, Kristen Jones Coaching. And, but you can also listen to this podcast again because there's a ton of really good information. Again, we've got to know what the common fears are. We have to identify if we have any. We have to be honest with ourselves about identifying. And then we need to look at finding proof to convince our subconscious mind that it is okay, it is safe, we can lose weight. And then just remind yourself over and over and over. Every day that becomes a part of your morning routine. Part of the thing that you do is you go ahead and you remind yourself every day that you can do that. Okay. All right. I hope that was helpful. It looks like it was. I'm so glad. Thank you so much for joining me today. I so appreciate you all who come on live. It really does make a huge difference to me, and I really appreciate y'all. All right, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you all next week with another topic. I've already got my topic for next week. Actually, I'm just going to drop it for you. Let me see if I can remember. Next week, we are going to talk cravings. We are going to talk cravings and specifically sugar. We're going to talk about all cravings, but we're going to talk about sugar because I answered a question this morning, and that seems to be a running concern, dialogue, all the things. And we are going to talk about cravings and what you can do about them right now and how you can change them. Okay. All right. We'll see y'all next week. Thanks so much.